So I come from a tradition that we should find a permanent solution for depression, and the permanent solution is the light body. I'm not going to talk about that in this session. In this session, so just go. I want to go and take you to the concept of depression being carried from one lifetime to another lifetime. So what happened in life in one lifetime affects you in this lifetime. So in my study, and also in the literatures that I am familiar with from my tradition, is that if a particular soul committed suicide out of depression, out of inability to deal with their problem, whether it is a love problem or money problem or whatever problem, drives them to take away their life, they are born again, and then they are again forced to do the same thing. So the theory here is, if you commit suicide in this lifetime, it's because your soul remembers that and forces you to do the same thing. I have studied it with regard to suicide bombers in different parts of the world, in Japan, for instance, and also in the Middle East. These souls are reborn again with this thought deeply ingrained in their brain, and then they take away their life. So what do you do? So that's the most important thing. What do you do? Can you really change it? There are a couple of ways I'm going to suggest to you. One is a traditional approach, which I have found very, very useful. And this I have been experimenting with this particular ritual, at least for, I would say, about 7-8 years ago. And this comes under what I have come to call as a new discipline called soul genetics. Soul genetics is a term I coined myself. Just as you inherit biological genes, so for instance, somebody is diabetic in this lifetime, and the father had diabetes, and the mother had diabetes, or the grandfather had diabetes. So you have diabetes. So this comes from biological transference of genes. The same way you have soul genes, if you will, and they are thought forms that you have inherited from your family members, your ancestors, and also from your own self. So you have, on the one hand, biological genes transferring diseases, and here also the soul genes transferring, also soul genes carrying certain thought patterns, depression and suicide tendencies are embedded in the soul that you have inherited either from your own soul or from the soul of your ancestors, because there is not much of a difference between your soul and your father's soul, because you have inherited anyway, just as you have inherited the biological genes. Now, how do you deal with these soul business? Because the body, of course, you can go and take medicine, or work with thinning the cerebrospinal fluid, or work with areas associated with depression, try to treat with different technologies, but what are you going to do with when you have inherited something from your soul, and the soul business is really very deep-seated emotion that no matter what, you cannot deal with it. It's very difficult to deal with it. So what you need is a spiritual solution. or a soul solution that comes under soul genetics. In the Eastern countries, whether it is India, China, Japan, they have a method. And then in India, it became a science, and it is called the science of Tarpanam. Tarpanam is uh, offering food to the ancestors' souls. The ancestors' soul are not uh, leaving the earth plane. They are out there, although we cannot see them. And they are basically responsible, the ancestor souls and also your own previous soul. They are hanging out around around the person whom they are associated with, and then giving their thoughts. So you are not thinking your own thoughts. You are thinking the thoughts from your previous incarnation, and also from your father, from your mother, from your grandfather, great-great-grandfather. All these people are thinking through you. And that's why you are getting these ideas. And the remedy here is just to do some offering called a tarpanam. If you just offer just water, it's a very, I'm not going to talk a lot more about it, because there are, if you go and check my previous videos, there is even a video called, somebody made it, called How to Do Tarpanam, Tarpanam, Tarpanam. Tarpanam is just offering water and some sesame seeds to the ancestors' souls, and also your previous incarnated soul. And you will have relief immediately, because it is a ritual that cleanses your soul. The depression is in the soul, not in the mind. The mind is only the child of the soul, but the soul is the father or mother. So you have to get to the soul to remove that, because the wound is in the soul, and you have to address that. And if you keep on doing this tarpanam, in a day you can do it many times, but to make sure that you do it only in daytime, before the sunset, after the sunrise and before the sunset. Keep doing this. It may seem to be very silly, but I don't care about whether it is silly or profound. But I care about, for one thing, that is result. If you get result, do it. Especially if you do it on the new moon day, it will be very, very effective. Why new moon day? That's another topic that I don't want to get into that.